I'm going to be 33 next week. Yay me, right? And I'm here thinking, I'm here writing out a list of all the things that I would do and all the things I would start doing and start pursuing and start feeling once I get $1 million, right? Once I get $1 million, I'm going to travel. Once I get $1 million, I'm going to actually be able to hire an expert so I can start working on issues, and I'm going to start really living my life. And now it's like, wait a minute. I might not get another birthday. So I got to start switching this up. How can I start living the life that I really want right now? I might not have $1 million, but I'm alive. I might not have, all the things that I'm waiting to have to be happy, but I can remember a time where, all I wanted was to not be around people that verbally abuse me. I just wanted some money because I was working for nothing. I just wanted to be held, but I figured out how to love myself. So it's like, it's not the most exciting thing. It's not what I thought my life would be, but I'm so much happier than I used to be. I sleep better than I used to. How can I start making my life happier today instead of waiting till tomorrow? You know what? Sometimes it might not be the best decision, the healthiest choice, but it just reminds me, like, I have a choice. And I don't mean to get dark on it, but it's like, it's just that reality check. Like, I'm in a better place. I'm in a better place than I used to be. And I'm so thankful for that. I'm so thankful to be in a better place right now. I really am. So, yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Like, when you take a minute and just kind of pause and say to yourself, where was I at last year? Where was I at last month? Where was I at a few weeks ago? Where was I at a few years ago? And then you look at today and you say to yourself, man, I got a better apartment, I got a better car, I got a better job, my hair grew, I did something, I built something, I created something. That's progress. That's moving in a better direction. That's even if it's nothing much change, but I do feel better. That's a better direction. And those things are so good to have. When you can accept where you're at and not feel like, because I'm working on that. that constant, I gotta do better, I gotta do better, I gotta get here, I gotta go there. I don't have this yet, I don't have this yet. Because you know what? For as much as I tried to deny it, there was a lot of pressure from my family to succeed and achieve and be better. There was a lot of expectation. There was a lot of emphasis on how I looked and how I presented myself. Not necessarily grades, but there was an expectation, like, you know, you do your best, but like how I look, oof, how I speak, how I walk, how I carry myself, because I'm representing something. I'm representing the family name, you know, or the family business, and I always have to be the best. I have to look a certain way. But now that I'm older, I recognize it. So much emphasis was put on your looks and appearance, but not actually the quality of what's going on inside. Because it's about denial. I can remember my mom clearly saying, like, oh, that depression's on your dad's side of the family. That's your dad's side of the family. We don't have that. You know, that's made up. You need a good slap. You know, it's so dismissive of mental health, and even saying that word, oh, that's just and it's like, you know, it makes sense why there's so much cheating and there's so much disrespect and there's so much abuse and divorce and all this shit going on in the family dynamic, because it's like you're just putting a band-aid on things and trying to make it seem like you have it together, but you actually don't have it together. You're in denial. And again, this is a band-aid. You can't put a band-aid over a wound. Like, this is gonna be a little graphic and a little, you know, ick, but it's the truth. If you get cut, right, and you take that cut and you fill it with dirt and you leave it open, right, and you sit out in the sun and you ignore the pain and you just let the flies come in and whoop, it's gonna get infected. You don't even need the flies to come in for it to get infected. You don't treat it properly, whatever you got cut with most likely is going to get you infected. You leave that alone long enough, what's going to happen? It's going to get into your bloodstream. Once it gets into your bloodstream and all your that cut is infected and starts getting painful, you leave that alone long enough, guess what's going to happen? Guess. You got to cut it off. Because if that gets further into your body, it's going to unalive you. It's going to permanently cause damage. It is going to affect you to the point where you don't have any options. Okay. It's not an ideal life. The ideal life is to have your heart beating, your brain pumping, you know, you have all your legs and your toes and your arms and everything, right? You have your sight, you have your taste, you have your vision, you have your hearing, you have everything. The ideal situation is for you to fully function, but you don't need all of your fingers. You don't need them, right? I know. What? You don't need them, though. You don't need your foot. You don't need both arms. If you come into a doctor's office, if you go to the hospital, if you go to the ER, and your arm has been crushed and your foot has been crushed to the point where it's no longer viable, they're going to amputate it. They're going to amputate it to save your heart and to save your brain. Because if there's enough stress on your brain, if there's enough stress on your heart, you're gonna die, right? You're gonna die. And your body, because your body, the ideal situation is to have, your body's gonna continue to pump blood to those things that are no longer viable, because that's what it's designed to do. So they have to chop it off to stop the blood from pumping to those areas that are no longer viable, because it's really just squirting blood all over the place. Ah! It's not funny. But it's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious, because when you apply that level of thinking and that level of attitude and that level of everything to your life, you're in a situation where you may be giving so much energy to parts of your life and to people in your life and to aspects of you that are no longer viable. You are pumping vital energy into things. You are providing resources and effort and time and energy into something that literally has no benefit to you at all. Zero. But you are continuing to do it because that's what you've been programmed to do. That's what you've been trained to do. That's how far you've disassociated from yourself. That's how far you've disassociated from understanding just how valuable and viable you are. But because of all of the things that have happened, trauma, conditioning, abuse, neglect, rejection, fear, those are the things that have taught you to provide essential resources to non-viable aspects of your life. The only way to get to a point, and I'm speaking for myself. That is what my calling is. Speaking from my perspective. I'm not going to project my problems onto you. I'm not going to say that you're going exactly through what I'm going through. No. For me, I finally realized how much I was pumping into everyone by continuing to do it. I continued, yes, give. The only micro adjustment that I made was I said to myself, okay, I need to be okay though. If I have been giving 100%, whatever in my mind, my body, and my spirit I feel 100% is, I'm going to give myself 15. I give you 75. I'm sorry. Right. Let's say it's 15. Whatever other percent I give back to the universe. I've been giving you 75. I give myself 25. Oh, wow. That's what 25% of me gets? Oh, shit. Oh, this is actually kind of nice. Oh, shit. Okay. This is great. I am revived. 25% of me is very successful. 25% of my energy built this. Wow. Shit. I guess I'm not a complete absolute piece of trash. I guess I'm not an absolute piece of garbage. I don't know. Shit. This feels good. Damn. What's the problem? Why y'all complaining? Oh, you got 75% of this? Shit, you didn't take over the world yet? Let me give me 50%. Holy shit. You're still disrespectful. You're still talking shit. You're still acting the way I just don't really understand. You're still moving in ways that just ain't vibrating with my spirit. Let me give me 75%. Ooh, the silent treatment. Ooh, negative vibes. Ooh. Yeah, let me take all of me right back off your plate. Whoop, thanks. Hi, my name is Lee. I'm a spiritual wellness coach, and I don't have time for your nonsense. You have, and I have played this game long enough. I'm not interested in you. I'm not interested in being deceived and lied to. I'm not. Whatever part of me used to believe that the only value I had was making things so easy for you and convenient for you has long since passed away. I'd like to help others because you don't have to go through 98% of the shit that I went through. You don't. You don't have to go through 98%. If you're stubborn, maybe you need to go through 3%. Maybe. I'm being generous for the people that are very, very hard-headed. You did not, and you do not. And more importantly, if you've gone through whatever amount of percentage of nonsense, you don't have to anymore. You don't have to. You can actively say, you know what? I think I'm going to change my life tomorrow and I'm going to start waking up. You know, I think I'm going to be kind to myself when I fall off the bandwagon. I think I'm going to take it easy and I'm going to redefine what everything looks like, because the fine print is nobody really knows. They can try to tell you, but they don't really know. They're trying to navigate all of this the best that they can. So figuring out what's right, for me and my spirit is something I really got to get deep, and I got to get into the nitty-gritty of. All of the pages and pages and pages in my journal of all the things that have been said to me that hurt me, all of the actions and behaviors. I don't want to read those pages no more. I don't want to talk about those pages anymore. I don't want to think about them. I want to set my mind to doing something amazing with my life. Yeah. There's a quote that I love. Despite all my flaws and insufficiencies, I am someone worth having around. And it is okay if things get better for me. It's beautiful. And it's something to remember because you're going to make mistakes. You're going to fall down. You're going to try and it might not work out. You may keep trying and it just doesn't work out. That doesn't mean give up. That doesn't mean you're not good enough. That doesn't mean you're a failure. That doesn't mean you deserve less than. It means you're human and trying again and again and again and again and again. And you know what? Sometimes it means giving up and trying something else. Being right with you and your spirit is all that matters. That's it. I can't remember who said it, but sometimes the answer is right in front of your face. But you've been thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it for so long and trying to figure it out that because it's right in front of you, it's hard to see. Be kind to yourself and be patient, and it's gonna work out. I'll see you on the next one.